Hello and welcome to Instant Transmission, a podcast where we discuss everything Dragon Ball and how Goku could get some more screen time if they would just cut some useless screen time from Vegeta. I'm your host, Dayton, and once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Todd.
Hi.
And tonight's episode will be Todd and I ranking each of the original run of 13 Dragon Ball Z movies on a score of 1 to 10. Both of us are unaware of the other's ranking, so you, the audience, will be hearing our scores for the first time alongside the other co-host. Once both of us have given our rankings for a movie, we'll average it together, and that will be our official ITDB scoring for that video. At the end, we'll put everything in order and see how everything kind of falls into place. So, with all of that covered, was there anything you wanted to add before we got things started, Todd?
No, I'm excited to see how these get rated between the both of us. I'm sure, like you said earlier, there's probably going to be a few that are a few curveballs.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, and kind of some inside baseball. Both of us discussed this a little bit. We're kind of keeping everything in context of these 13 movies. So we're not ranking them against anything other than themselves. So it's not like we're bringing in the new Broly movie or maybe comparing it against like anything from Super. This is just the movies ranked against each other's. So the context of the scores need to kind of reflect that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And this will be just the original Dragon Ball Z 13 movies. We're not doing any TV specials. There's no History of Trunks, no Bardock. So just these 13 movies that have like what, a 50-minute runtime basically.
Yeah, they're short. You can tell the budget is maybe not quite up to snuff. And I mean, there's some rushing in all of these movies. There's some flaws, but I think a lot of them are still fun. So I'm actually really happy to be here. And honestly, let's just go ahead and dive into the first one, which is going to be Dead Zone, the one that kind of kicks everything off.
Yeah. Do we want to reveal our ratings and then talk about it? I feel like that might make the most sense.
I don't know. See, what I'm feeling is let's talk about what we like and dislike about it and then reveal our rankings. Because for me, Dead Zone is kind of an awesome starting point. I think it actually has some of the best grounded in martial arts fighting out of all the movies. So I give it big props in that. I think the fight with the henchmen is one of the best fights with henchmen in all of the movies. The Goku using the power, he's still using the power pole at this point, right? And so you get to see him kind of deflecting blows from an opponent who's using a sword, by the way, which is also cool. And we get 3 versus 1 fights, which is super fun. There's a lot to like about this movie.
I really like this one a lot too. I think we talk about this for some of the earliest movies, that the martial arts feels grounded more like it's like a high octane version of the stuff that you see in the original Dragon Ball, which I like. It's probably really that sort of fighting is probably my favorite in all of Dragon Ball. And yeah, the henchmen, they're cool. They've got like weird powers. They pull weapons out of their bodies. We get to see Kami fight in this one, which is wild. We almost never see that. We get to see Piccolo and Goku team up for kind of the first time. I mean, there's a lot to like about this one. There's comedy in Krillin. I mean, he gets peed on. There's all kinds of stuff going on here.
And you know, because it's the first movie, some of the running gags aren't old or stale at this point either. Like everything feels kind of brand new here. And that's definitely to its advantage. To its disadvantage, I don't find Garlic to be a particularly interesting villain. I like that they're trying to give Kame some ties to, you know, something outside of what we've seen, which I think is cool. But Garlic more or less just wishes for immortality, which does actually make him unique in a way. Like he can't really be killed. So they have to find a way around that. But other than that, he's just kind of a strong guy, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons to Garlic, in my opinion. Like I kind of like, because especially in Dragon Ball Z in particular, we get a lot of bad guys who are like, I'm going to get immortality and rule the universe. Garlic Jr. is the only one who actually does that.
And so I mean, there's kind of a poetic ending to it too, or I don't know if you want to call it poetic, but where he gets immortality and then is going to spend eternity in a realm of darkness. Like that's really messed up.
Right. I think my My least favorite part is the fact that Garlic Jr. is the one who opens up the dead zone.
Yeah, it's kind of a what is going on here? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, and Team Four Star makes fun of this perfectly in their parody of like Garlic Jr. You've used the one technique that can defeat you. Why?
I'm yeah, I'll forgive it though because I think it does so much right.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and give my score for this one.
Okay.
I gave this one a perfect 10. I think this is probably one of the best, if for me anyway, it's the best version of a Dragon Ball Z original run movie. It's got side characters and Kame in it. It's got interesting henchmen. The immortality on the final boss, while he's not super interesting, he does have a twist. And that makes him more interesting than a lot of other villains in Dragon Ball. And yeah, like the gags aren't run ragged at this point. There's some budget in the areas it needs it. I have a lot of good things to say about this. And when I first saw this movie, I didn't have the full breadth of all the other Dragon Ball movies. I just had I don't know what to expect. I'm going in blind, and I'm wondering if maybe I was a little too harsh on this movie the first time I saw it when I have the context of all the other ones. And looking back, I love this movie. There's only a couple things I would change. I feel like the ending is a little rushed too, where the fight just kind of ends and the movie's over. But it's still a really fun ride, and I wasn't bored in this. They tried to give me a new story. They tried to give me some good fights. They gave me some martial arts. I'm a happy boy watching this movie, and I would gladly watch this one again.
Wow, I am surprised because I feel like you did have more a few more negative things to say about it when we watched it the first time through, but it's also the first movie, right? You didn't have context for the other ones, so
yeah, it's interesting because this is kind of like I'm getting my do-over because now I can judge all the beginning ones a little bit more properly. And here's the thing is we also discussed this too. I'm still kind of actively looking at some of my scores and being like, I could nudge this one up or down. Because it's tough, man. Like a lot of these movies do compete with each other for a spot or a space.
It's hard. I very much felt that way too, where I was like, man, am I rating this one correctly? Well, I'll give my rating here too now. So I gave the Dead Zone an 8 out of 10. So I very much agree with you. I think this one is fantastic. I think some of the things that bring it down just a little bit for me are the fact that, well, the way Garlic Jr. is defeated is very silly. And then the other thing is that this one does draw a lot from the very first arc in Dragon Ball Z, which a lot of these movies do. But it's pulling like Goku and Piccolo teaming up together to fight the bad guy. It's pulling that out. It's pulling out. There were one or two other little details that I was thinking about that it draws from. But it has enough in there that pulls from the original Dragon Ball Z that I was like, I don't love that part. The other thing was actually Gohan. Like we get to see Gohan get angry and hurt the bad guy or beat the bad guy effectively, much like he does with Raditz. But overall, it's really good.
Yeah, it's all things considered. Looking back, I was like, I enjoyed this one a lot more than, and maybe there's a run of other movies that helped me beef this one up. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how bad they could be. Okay, I really do appreciate what we had.
Yeah, the action in this one really is top notch in my opinion. It's
and I weigh like the martial arts stuff a lot more heavily maybe than some other people. Like I like it when you can see like the blade being stopped and the way he turns and throws the counter attack and just. I love that little attention to detail. That's the stuff that really excites me. I love the martial arts grounding in Dragon Ball. And the more we get into Z, the less we see of that.
I agree. It is a bummer that we lose a lot of that. Like even the action in here, it feels fast paced without like getting just like speed lines or repetitive animation. It feels dynamic and exciting to watch. So this one's definitely highly rated for both of us from the sounds of it.
So with your 8 and my 10, I'm double checking the numbers here. I think that gives us an ITDB rating of 9 for the Dead Zone, which I'm more than happy with.
I think 9 is a great rating for this one. I think that's a perfect spot for this one to sit in.
And that brings us into the world's strongest. And this one has a lot of things I like and a couple of things I dislike. So, for one, this has, I think, the coolest henchmen out of all the movies. They're so interesting. You've got the guy that grows like the electrical tentacles out of his body and actually like zoom in on it and show how it show it happening. And it looks disgusting. I love it. I wish they would do more stuff like that. They got the guy who throws ice attacks around and actually freezes Goku. They got the dude who just absorbs all attacks. And of course, Goku just punches through them, but that's what Goku does. But like the henchmen are badass. And on top of that, the main villain is interesting, right? He's not just a big, strong guy. He's like this crazy, I don't know, mad scientist brain in a robot who's trying to capture a body and put himself in it, which we've heard of a storyline similar to this. But, you know, it's still really neat here. And I like that we're kind of in an alien setting. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff happening with this one. I don't know. What'd you like about it?
Man, I like this one a lot too. This still, much like the Dead Zone, is very grounded martial arts. I mean, it's not a lot of flying around, and even the ki blasts are kept to like the ki blasts are when they fire off a ki blast, it feels impactful. It feels important. They're not just kind of everywhere. We still get to see. I think Goku might have his power pole in this one a little bit, but this one, I think, unlike a lot of the other movies, doesn't have a lot of parallels with the Dragon Ball Z anime, the primary storyline. I'm actually even trying to think of, you mentioned that we've seen like plots like the doctor here trying to get his body and stuff. Which plot line are you talking about that it's similar to?
Oh, well, I more or less meant the technique of taking someone's body, like Captain Ginyu. Like, oh, you have a stronger body. Like, I want that body. Or something like, why can't I ever remember his name? Zamatsu.
I see what you're saying.
Like, the act of stealing a strong body, that's not new to Dragon Ball.
That's a good point. Yeah. But that's the reason I ask is because one of the things I like about this one is because it is basically an original story. It feels unique. There are similar concepts, you're right, to some of the stuff that does happen later in Dragon Ball Z. But I mean, having a bad guy who is not basically just a copy of one of the villains in the Dragon Ball Z anime, and also you end up seeing a giant brain inside of a mecha robot thing that fights Goku. It's cool. I like it.
It's a cool design villain, right? Like, it's interesting to look at. I'm a big fan of the villain in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one does a lot right, I think. And then you kind of get like I mean, you even have like the two bad guys too, right? You have Kochin, who's you find out is a robot himself. I don't know. This one's got a lot of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. And my critiques are honestly the same as yours. Like, there's not much to critique in this one because, like, it is an original story, which is something that I do weigh. If you're gonna spend a bunch of time on story, I'd prefer it to actually be a decent one because we do have some movies where I feel like we spend a bunch of time on story and we don't really get any actual narrative out of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what I would even knock this one for. Like, we do have the bad guy getting defeated by the spirit bomb, which in this movie is not necessarily bad, but it does create a trend moving forward where the spirit bomb is effectively the solution to 80% of the movies.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. But I mean, we're early on, right? Like, you can't knock the beginning of the trend. It's unique to this ish movie.
Right. And this movie, I mean, of course, we get to see the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb in the Saiyan arc, but this is the first time that it's given to us in the movies, and it's used I would say, very differently than it is in the Saiyan arc, or both of those techniques are. So, honestly, that's, props to them on that part.
Yeah. I don't have a lot bad to say. It's all good stuff, and I'm a big Henchman fan too, and this does all that right. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I think so. For my rating, I obviously I like this one a lot. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. There's not a lot that I can knock this one for. Um, there are some contrivances, I guess, really with their plot of going to find the Dragon Balls and then like Piccolo getting taken over and stuff, but and them not using Piccolo's bot. I don't know. There's a few weird things that you could probably pick out and nitpick, but I don't have a lot to knock it for, honestly.
I'm kind of right there with you. The couple biggest knocks I had is the way the story is told is a little confusing at times, where I wasn't sure where the narrative was going or who they were talking about. Because I remember watching it the first time, I had to rewind it a couple times and try and figure out what they were talking about. Um, but other than that, no, I give this one a 9 as well, because I thought there's not a lot of bad things to say about it. The fights are great. I mean, it probably just needs a little bit more of a climactic ending or something like that, because I feel like the struggle with the main boss isn't very long. But I mean, these are nitpicks. These are gripes. This is just areas where it could have improved. And I suppose for me, to get a 10 out of 10, you really need to blow me away with something. And I kind of didn't have that, like, that huge moment. Like, everything was very, very good, but there wasn't anything huge that could be like, I love this. Like in the Dead Zone, I love the fight with the henchmen. I think it is such a fun fight. I love like 3v1s, or, like where the odds aren't the same. The numbers aren't the same. I love those styles of fights. So we get to see that there in the first one. We do get that in this one, but it's just a little bit worse.
Yeah. I really like the fighting. I would say I do like the henchman fight in the Dead Zone better. That was just really good.
Well, I think that makes our scores pretty easy here. It's 999.
999. Yeah, that's I mean, sounds like we were on the same page about that one. So I think that moves us on to movie number 3.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, because I'm really curious where you're going to fall here. This is the Tree of Might, and I'm going to kind of tip my hand a little bit. This is the crowning example of what I consider an average movie. I was not bored during this movie, but there were also long stretches of I wasn't particularly entertained either. The villain is just a copy paste of Goku, right? Like, it's not new or interesting design. And on top of that, we don't really have like any crazy choreography, but it's not bad either. I don't know. Like, I felt really wishy-washy about this movie, but maybe you'll feel differently. How'd you feel about it?
I think I was right there with you, honestly. And when we watched this, I talked about I remember really liking this one a lot as a kid, and watching it as an adult, I was kind of like, this isn't as good as I remember it being. I think part of that was that I remembered because we get a lot of the side characters in this movie, unlike most of the movies, really, because we get to see Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, Gohan. Not that Gohan's really a side character, but
Sometimes he is.
Sometimes he is. But we get to see all of them kind of like get into the fight. And in my head, I remembered them all having like their own fights and getting cool moments. And they really don't. They kind of get jobbed like right off the bat with they don't show much of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the scene of everyone kind of getting together and getting ready to take down the villain like felt kind of cool. You had like I don't know, like an Avengers Assemble kind of moment in this movie, but it doesn't really have the big payoff that you're looking for. And we love these characters, right? Like, when we see them on screen, we want them to do cool things. And we didn't quite get that. And for me, this movie doesn't do anything particularly egregious, right? Like, I'm not offended by anything that this movie does, but the main villain doesn't look or do anything cool. Like, he's just kind of, I don't know, just looks like Goku. And he's another Saiyan wearing the Saiyan battle armor. I'm not really impressed by that character. The henchmen, I can't remember. I think in this is when they kind of stopped giving henchmen names. So I feel like it's around this point.
I can't remember any of their names if they have them.
Yeah, the henchmen don't really matter. They don't have like the super cool abilities that we saw with the other henchmen in the previous movie. So that was definitely kind of a step down for me. We don't get really any of the huge martial art moments that I really love. But there is action. Like they do try and keep you engaged in the movie, so it's not like you're bored. But at the same time, I'm not really impressed by anything either. So for me, I gave this one a solid 5 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I was pretty close to that same boat. There's still some stuff that I like about this one, like, and yeah, I don't like the villain just being a copy paste of Goku, and this one's taking a lot from the Saiyan arc and the Saiyans coming to Earth and stuff. And Turles also, I know there's some people will say it's supposed to be like, imagery of like what Goku could have been, and that's who Turles is supposed to be, but there's not an in-universe reason for Turles looking like Goku, and it bothers me.
Isn't it really weird? Especially when you've got like Bardock in the story already, who is just another copy paste of Goku.
And then we've got Goku Black, who is another. Like, there's so many renditions of Goku. It's like, and this one did do it pretty early, but we don't need more Goku. We get too much Goku as it is already.
And I mean, it's not even saying, like, I love the character design of Raditz, right? Like, where it's definitely Goku-esque, but he's also his own character, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. So I gave it just a little bit higher rating. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because it's still like there are things that I like. I like Turles eating, even though the fruit is kind of a silly power up. I like him eating it and then watching him beat up Goku. And some of the fights, like it's trying to give us fights with the side characters, even though it doesn't really land. So it does some stuff I like, but it just doesn't execute it super well.
Yeah, it's like I said, this isn't a particularly bad movie, but it's also it could have been better. There were some missed opportunities here. And with your score of 6 and mine of 5, double check my numbers, but I believe that gives us a 5.5 as the official ITDB rating for the Tree of Might.
You are a professional calculator.
I went to elementary school. Up next is movie number 4, and this is Lord Slug. And, well, do you want to take this one away?
Sure. There's a lot. I think there's a lot to like about this one. This one does have, like, Lord Slug is at least mildly interesting. It's a simple story, right? He's coming to Earth. He actually, I think he's trying to like take over the planet for energy, but he ends up finding out the Dragon Balls are here, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get me some Dragon Balls. So he does have a lot of parallels with the original King Piccolo of wishing to be young again. So that I would say that I would take points away from it for that. Again, we're doing these parallels of repeating things from the anime. But the fighting in this is a lot of fun. There's the henchmen do have some really interesting quirks. We've got like the little matcha guy who like explodes on people. We've got the guy with the stretchy arms, and then we got there's the pretty guy, and then there's the big dumb guy. We get to see Piccolo do some good fighting. We get to see Gohan get into the fray. And then just the fighting with Goku against Lord Slug, and especially when Lord Slug gets big and you watch like Goku run up his arm and blast him in the face, and then Lord Slug like blasting Goku with his mouth beam in the buildings. There's lots of really cool set pieces in this one.
So for me, I like this movie probably way more than I should. And a lot of it has to do with the way they utilize those set pieces. I mean, the scene where Goku's running down the street and you see this giant arm crash through the building to block him off. Then he goes back the other way and the other arm comes through, and then you see his head burst through the building and then just mouth blast him. I love it. It's so cool. Goku running through like not the sewers, but like the subway area, and like the fists or whatever coming down trying to crush him. I love it. It's so much fun. And for me, that's what I look for in these movies, because they're non-canon. They don't matter. I just want to have a good time. And this one, I think, kind of understands what it wants to be. And on top of that, I love Piccolo's beatdown of the henchmen, where he takes the one guy and like breaks his arm in half and then stalks him through a building. And then when he goes to like fake give him a hand up, he puts his hand like on his face and just murders him right there in cold blood. I love it. There's a lot of highs. And I mean, there's some not so great parts in this. Like, I rewatched a little bit of it, and the animation quality suffers really badly at some points in this. But you get those moments in all the movies. And the story, Not very original, not very compelling, but I don't necessarily need that for all these movies as long as I'm having fun. And I will say, I like Lord Slug's drip. He has a giant evil spaceship that he flies around with, an army of evil henchmen. I like all that stuff. He feels very villainous to me, even though, I mean, I also get Team Forstall's interpretation of him talking mixed in there sometimes. I can't separate them out. I think this is a fun movie. Like I'm actually a pretty big fan of this one.
I feel the same. I think the biggest things I knock it for are the fact that it is copying a lot from like King Piccolo, the original King Piccolo. And then I think the other thing that other two things I think that I would really knock it for are the it does end with, if I remember right, it does end with a spirit bomb defeating Lord Slug, which again it gets repetitive in the movies. The other big thing though that, and it's not really a problem when you're watching this movie, but one of the things that bothers me about the way they made this movie is the false Super Saiyan and the fact that they basically like borderline tried to spoil the Super Saiyan transformation before it was revealed in the anime, and that drives me nuts. Like, why would you do that?
Like, what are you doing? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, oh my god, yeah, that's yeah, that kind of stuff drives me nuts because they've done stuff like that down the line too, where they spoil stuff. And it's, what are you doing? Like, I don't care if you go back and reuse an old story. Like, that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Right.
But when you're spoiling stuff that's yet to come out, that's like a big no-no.
Yeah. So it gets knocked a little bit for me on that one. But yeah, I think, let's see, I think it's my turn to reveal first. So I think I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10. I'm with you. I like this one a lot. There are a handful of things that I would knock it for. Like you said, the story's, it's simple. It's not the best, but also it's like, it knows what it is. It's just here to be like, here's a bad guy. Here's some entertaining fighting. So I like that about this movie a lot.
And I'm right there with you. I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. And we get the dynamic of he's a big bad guy, so we at least have something that's interesting about him, right? So there are too many villains where there's no techniques, they're just a strong guy. Lord Slug is more or less a strong guy, but he's a very big, strong guy, and so that adds some fun dynamics that you don't get in a lot of other fights. And I don't know, I'm right there with you. I took a couple points off for the same reasons you did. The story could have been a little bit better, could have been a little bit more creative. But it's a fun movie. I would definitely rewatch this one.
Yeah, this one's definitely up there for me. So that gives us straight 7s across the board. So perfect slot machine numbers for Lord Slug.
And right here, this is where I consider the start of the weird territory with Cooler's Revenge. And man, I was all over the place looking at this one because one, Cooler just looks cool. It's in the name. I love his character design aesthetic. But at the same time, he's still not the most interesting like character to fight. He doesn't do anything really that original. There's a lot of action in this one, but it's not the most interesting action. The side characters get some sort of role, even if it's just fetching beans for Goku. Like, I don't know, man. This is like a weird one. Like, one of the highlights for me is Piccolo just being a brutal badass slaughtering henchmen. He's already done that in other ones, but it's really good in this one. So I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about this one.
I'm right there with you. I'm so mixed about this one. Like, the first half of this one kind of bores me to sleep, if I'm being honest. Because it's basically just Goku gets blasted by Cooler, and then we're just waiting for Goku to get better so that we can actually have a fight.
Yeah, you're getting all this like, I don't know, filler content with the side characters where you're like, oh, they're gonna kind of do something. No, they're not gonna do anything. All right, well, come on.
Yeah, like the only part that is, I don't know, fun to watch in terms of the side characters is Piccolo beating the tar out of the bad guys until Cooler shows up and then beats up Piccolo. But at that point, Goku gets his sensu bean from Gohan and Krillin. So we finally, by like 30 minutes into the 50-minute movie, or maybe even more, we finally get to see Goku and Cooler fight. And it's cool. I like it. I will always love Shredder Cooler. He looks awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun design. And this is I think we both talked about this in a previous episode. This is a character that I would like them to revamp into a new movie and give them some interesting abilities and some cool storyline and some budget because we like the design.
Yeah, yeah, truly. I mean, Cooler doesn't. The fight with Cooler is, I think it does have some fun beats. He doesn't have a lot of like wild, cool techniques, but even him just like uppercutting Goku into the rock and then like slamming him into the ground, planting himself a dumbass tree. It's there's just a few really cool pieces, and then of course we get Goku turning Super Saiyan. Um, there's something interesting too. I don't know if it's interesting or boring, really, but Cooler kind of parallels Frieza here, right? In that he's like, well, I'm being beat, so I'm just going to give a massive death ball to destroy the planet. And it's cool to watch Goku like push that back and be like, I don't think so, bitch, and blast him into the sun.
I'm gonna lift this ball. Yeah, it's there's an amount of cool moments, and the lead up is it's a wait. I don't know. I think for me, I think the highs on this were pretty decent. I gave this one a 6 out of 10, but it was not a confident 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 as well. It has good spots. Like there are things that I like, but I honestly would skip the first half of this movie and just watch the latter half.
Yeah, that's the thing is you're like once you get past the early scuffle and some of the waiting and actually into the mix, it is pretty fun. But I mean, if this is one of those ones that I could give it a 5 out of 10 and I wouldn't blink. Like it's not. There are some flaws with this one, but there's also some upside. So this was a difficult one for me to rate.
Yeah, I'm the same. Cooler's he's fucking cool though, man. I do like him. I don't know.
Fun.
But well, speaking of Cooler.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, we're not done with it yet because we've got the movie number 6, Return of Cooler. And man, there's a lot of ideas in this movie. I feel like I don't know why, but I don't feel like we needed 2 Cooler movies in a row. I feel like that's to its disservice. I wish we would have broken up like the Cooler and the Broly stuff a little bit because it feels like I'm getting Cooler again too soon. And on top of this, the story for this one is crazy at best. Like my understanding is that after being defeated by Goku, more or less a sentient garbage pile picked up Cooler and put him back together, and they were flying around absorbing planets. Like,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah, that's a weird story. I think Cooler looks cool in a metal form. I would have liked to have seen him with a Shredder outfit on and being metal as well, because I feel like we really didn't get that. And on top of that, I don't know. Like, something just feels like it's missing from this. It's like eating pizza without the sauce on it or something. It just feels like I needed a little bit more than what this movie gave me.
I honestly think that Metal Cooler or Chrome Cooler is bland. Like it takes kind of the cool things that I like about Cooler and just kind of like puts a silver coating on top of them. Especially because, like you said, we don't get like the Shredder version of Metal Cooler, which is a bummer. And I mean, we basically just get to see him create like, I don't know, thousands of copies of himself, which you would think would just easily be able to beat like Goku and Vegeta, for instance. And then the way Goku and Vegeta end up beating Cooler by just like overcharging his circuits, even though they got their shit kicked in, makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That ending was, I mean, I don't know, I'll just say it. It's kind of bad. Like there's no lead up to that's how he was going to be defeated. Even logically, it doesn't make sense that like one of them was weaker than Cooler, right? So why, like after getting their crap kicked in, why would they have enough energy? Even if they're at full strength, would they even have enough energy? Like, what is going on here? Like, the math here doesn't work out. But, all the time I look over that, though, I gloss over that kind of stuff in Dragon Ball, like the energy levels and stuff. But this one was so blatant that it was hard for me to look past.
That's the problem, I think. Yeah, because I even kind of like the concept of them like overcharging an enemy. Like I I think we talked about it when we watched through Dragon Ball Z Kai with Goku doing that to Yakan in the Buu arc, and I like it. I think Yakan is a version of this concept that is done much better because we're kind of given the impression that Goku is he's never really on the back foot in that fight. So you it feels realistic that he overcharges Yakan with his energy. Whereas Goku and Vegeta get their shit slapped in. Like, how do they overcharge Cooler? I don't get it.
And I rewatched the fight too with like the main Cooler or whatever before the army shows up, and it's an all right fight. Like, there's some cool concepts in it, but it's not particularly amazing, especially compared to some of the other fights we've seen. I don't know, just everything just feels kind of subpar with this one. Like, I'm not impressed with the story. I'm not really impressed with the fighting. Vegeta gets some neat dialogue, but that's about it. I don't know. I'm just going to give my score. I gave this one a 4 out of 10. I thought it was kind of below average. I wasn't like asleep or anything like that, but there was definitely a lot that they could have done better this one. And it's also hurt by the fact that we literally just saw a Cooler movie before this one that was better. So this one looks even worse by comparison.
We saw a cooler movie. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I wasn't far off. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I won't hate myself for watching this one. Like, there's some stuff that I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun, but it just doesn't hit home for most things. Like, whereas the first Cooler movie, I don't like the first half, but Cooler's fight and everything is cool. This one is just kind of like subpar throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and you've got this crazy trash, like, sentient monster technology that's put into play here, and all we really get out of it is just he can regenerate, and that feels kind of like a shortcoming. I wish he would have had cool, crazy, wild abilities that he would have been using this whole time.
Yeah, he only has a couple times where he does, like, I do kind of like where his arm kind of like comes apart into like wires and stuff, and he'll like grab Goku and things, but the regeneration is so overdone in Dragon Ball, just full stop. So
it needs to go away.
Yeah, I don't want to see
like
regeneration
forever
anymore.
All right, so Return of Cooler, done and dusted with an ITDB score of 4.5, and that brings us into movie number 7, Super Android 13. And this is the origin of the $30 haircut. What do you think, Todd?
I gotta say, some of the dialogue, even like just in the dub for this one, phenomenal. Like, hilarious.
I couldn't believe this was a real movie. Like, watching this one, it felt like a fever dream or something. The character design across the board is just weird, right? Like, you've got the little dude with the giant bow tie drinking alcohol the entire time. You've got some redneck trucker guy. I don't know. It's just, I don't know what's going on. The fights in this one are kind of drawn out a little bit. Like, the drama's drawn out a little bit. I think this is the one where they're getting kind of their crap kicked in half the movie, and they just don't put on the Super Saiyan until towards the end. It's like, what are you doing? This is not real drama.
I don't like fabricated drama, and yeah, I think we both said the same thing when we watched this the first time through. Is they just like they're getting beat up for no good reason. They have Super Saiyan. They could have turned it on at any point, and then this one is taking a lot from the Android and Cell arc. Like, I know, yes, we're dealing with more androids, but there's 3 androids. When 2 of them go down, they get absorbed into Android 13 to create a super Android 13. All of that is Cell. That is Cell absorbing 17 and 18 to become Perfect Cell. And it's far less interesting than Cell. So I knocked this one hard for that.
Well, the ending, like the way they defeat the villain, is just it's weird. Like, it's this, I don't know, weird super bomb aura angry Goku thing. Like, I didn't really understand what was happening here. It just kind of looked weird. So I didn't like the ending. I didn't really like the story. The characters are goofy. But I mean, they at least tried something. I can give them some credit that they were thinking outside the box in this one. It just kind of felt like everything fell short.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one ends with a spirit bomb again, but like you said, it's almost like absorbed into Goku, and I think he just kind of punches Super 13, if I remember correctly. Um, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like if Goku can just absorb energy like that, it feels like a cheat code. Like it kind of cheapens the spirit bomb to me. I would almost rather, even though I don't like that the spirit bomb is used so many times in the movies, I'd almost rather just see him use a normal spirit bomb than like absorb the spirit bomb in this moment.
we don't have to use the spirit bomb. We can use another technique. We can maybe even have some other characters play a role in defeating the villain.
That would be wild.
Yeah, for me, I was pretty harsh on this one. I gave this one a 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were pretty harsh on this one. And I'm there with you. I did end up giving it I gave it a 5 out of 10 too. Or I gave this one a 5 out of 10. But it's some of that comes through like the dub dialogue is just hilarious to me. And there's
it's so bad it's good.
That's basically it. There's also like there are a few things that I like about this. They do the like Trunks cutting one of the androids with his sword and then like sheathing it, and then the android blows up, which I will always love that. So they probably got a point for me on that one alone.
Oh yeah, you got the weeb points. I don't give out weeb points. Sorry.
I definitely do.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's not terrible, and I think average together that gives us an ITDB score of 4, which I'm fine with that. I think that feels about right.
Yeah, I think that falls roughly where it should. And that brings us into everybody's favorite wrestler.
Oh, gosh, yeah. This we'll see where this lands. This is movie number 8, Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. And right off the bat, I will give it some credit. There's an effort made here to try and have a story with characters. And we'll find out later that not all the Broly movies do that. Because they try and bring in, Vegeta's connection with Broly's dad and this other stuff that's going on. Is it convoluted and flawed? Absolutely. But there's at least an attempt here, and not all the movies make an effort to have an amount of story. So I at least give it some points there. And there is an all right amount of fighting in this movie. So I'm not bored the entire time either. So it definitely gets some points in those two categories.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm so torn on this one because it is technically an original story. It's not really copying from any other narrative, but I don't like the narrative at all. Like the fact that they keep great. Yeah, I will say the fact that they keep going back to the well of, oh, there were still more Saiyans who survived the explosion of planet Vegeta when Frieza blew it up. I hate that so much. Like, we were told as the audience that there was basically Goku, Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa. I think that was everybody that we were told originally. And yeah, maybe go back to it once and be like, yeah, there was one other Saiyan who survived. Sure. But stop doing it. It's been done way too many times. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I do. The one thing I like though about this is that they try and make the connection to Vegeta versus Goku. So we're actually getting some story with a character that isn't just the guy in the lunchbox. And so I at least like that part of it.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, he's an original character. And really
Broly has dialogue in this movie.
That's better than some of the movies coming up. Really, Paragus is more interesting to me than Broly. Like,
so I agree. I actually like him as a character.
Yeah, like the fact that I kind of like Paragus's narrative of like, because Broly was so strong, Broly was supposed to be killed and thrown off planet Vegeta. Paragus effectively like being, thrown to the wayside because he tried to protect his son. I like that Paragus has this vendetta against King Vegeta, and I guess because King Vegeta is no longer present, he's going to carry out that vendetta on King Vegeta's son in Prince Vegeta. I do kind of like that. It's so much better than Broly.
I agree. I'm right there with you. If there's not that dynamic, then I don't think I like really any of the story in it. But there's a lot of story in that character, and I'm grasping at straws here, man, because we're talking about just a really strong buff guy who's just beating up our heroes. That's more or less the story of what's happening.
And I'm like reluctant. I'm reluctant to even bring up Broly's motivation in that he hates.
Oh yeah.
He hates Kakarot because Kakarot cried when they were babies.
Yeah, that's not great.
I hate it so much.
It's like, what? He's in a room full of babies. Don't all the babies cry?
Yeah. And so Broly like loses his shit just because he hears the name Kakarot, because Kakarot cried when they were babies and they were in pods next to each other. I don't like Broly. I know it's going to make a lot of other people who like Broly upset. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, I don't find him to be a particularly interesting villain. My thing is I mean, I don't mind him as much in this movie. I don't mind a Broly movie.
Yeah.
So in taking that context with this one, I didn't punish him too harshly because he's still doing like the big forearm wrestler moves and stuff like that. There's some personality to at least his fighting style that's semi-unique to him. So I at least give him some effort there. Yeah, this is a movie, but let's figure out what our rankings are. What'd you give this one?
Yeah, so I gave this one a 4 out of 10. I'm not a fan of Broly, man. I think really the what gives this points is Paragus. I kind of like Paragus's narrative, and I like that this is not copying anything from the anime. The fighting is meh. And the way that Goku beats Broly is very meh. It's basically give me your power and I'm gonna punch him real hard.
Yeah, have you tried punching him real hard? I mean, I'm more or less with you. I gave this one a 5 out of 10. And if Paragus isn't in this movie, I probably drop it to a 3 out of 10 because I don't mind. It's a non-canon movie. Also, it's an entire planet of people. I'm sure a planet of spacefaring people. I'm sure 5 or 6 extras would be out there for them to run across. So I can kind of headcanon some of this stuff. It's not interesting to keep going to that well. I 100% agree with you. But I like the connection he has to King Vegeta and how that trickles down to Vegeta himself. I think that's interesting. Most of the interesting parts about this to me don't actually have to do with Broly. So it's a 5, but it's not a strong 5. And our combined score, our ITDB rating of 4.5 out of 10, I can live with that. That feels pretty good to me.
That feels about right. Funny enough, we've been pretty close on most of these. I'm just kind of looking back. Really, the one that we were I think the biggest split on was the Dead Zone, and we both felt pretty strongly about that one too.
I kind of thought maybe these middle ones would be a little bit more all over the place, but hey, mediocrity is mediocrity.
Yeah, I guess Super Android 13, I gave it a 5 and you gave it a 3, but yeah, we've been pretty close on most of them so far.
Well, let's see if we can break that up with BoJack Unbound, movie number 9. And, oh, buddy, this is a movie. To start off with some things that I like. I like this version of kind of like a young adult Gohan, or late teenage, like teenage, almost adult Gohan.
Right.
We don't really get to see a lot of characters like at this age, and especially Gohan. We kind of where this movie may or may not take place. Seeing him kind of progress in age like that feels right. I like seeing him whooping some ass. So anytime you get a side character, well, quote unquote side character, doing something, I like that. And the henchmen, we're back to having some abilities now. Like we've got these weird, I I don't know, strings that they can shoot out that can kind of bind people. Like there's a scene where Trunks gets caught up in it and he can't go anywhere. We're trying to do some interesting stuff with some of the side characters in this one, so I can respect that effort. There's a cool scene where they're flying along the buildings and you see Gohan just like get grabbed and his face just like scraped against it, which looks pretty cool. But unfortunately, outside of that, Bojack is not an interesting character. He doesn't say much. There's something with like the jewelry they're wearing that never really gets explained. Like the jewelry like glows when certain things happen, but they don't really talk about it. So I don't know what that was about. I didn't feel like looking it up because it didn't matter. And man, somehow Bojack is on par with Broly in the previous movie as far as interestingness goes. Like they're really competing with being just the most unremarkable villains in Dragon Ball.
They're truly bland. These guys have like this kind of unexplained transformation. The transformation is kind of bland.
I didn't even know it happened. Like it was at some point Bojack just looked different.
Yeah, it happens so quick you almost miss it. I think it's supposed to be something to do with the jewelry that they're wearing, maybe, but they don't explain that. They just kind of change color and get bigger, maybe. Like there's a part of me that wants to give it a little bit of credit because, again, these characters are. I can't think of any sort of narrative that these guys are like copying from. Like the closest thing would be, of course, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan fighting Cell, but this is a whole like group of bad guys that it feels pretty significantly different from that. But also they don't do it well. Like these guys are supposed to be, I think they're supposed to be like space pirates or something, and they got freed, and there's some sort of narrative surrounding that, but they basically just give it to you in like the briefest of exposition dumps through King Kai. So
yeah, that's right. It's kind of just, I don't know, served to you as like a little appetizer. Like, oh, is that what's happening?
And the beginning of this movie starts out with like some sort of random tournament that largely is not even really tied to the narrative. I would have liked to have had it, like, get rid of that tournament in the beginning and give us some actual backstory for these space pirates.
I mean, for me, man, there's not a lot to go through. Probably the most interesting thing that happens in this movie is when Bojack grabs one of his like henchmen and he throws her like in between him and Gohan and then tries to blast through her as either a diversion or a surprise attack. I thought that was cool. I thought that was villainous. And if Bojack had some personality, it would have been just like awesome.
I agree. That is probably one of my favorite moments in this movie, really. I also will say too, like I know you mentioned the strings from the henchmen. It's kind of a bummer to me because I feel like all of the henchmen can do that, so it kind of like cheapens it as a unique technique for me. Yeah, and then this kind of, I think, ends with, so it does end up trying to pull some narrative beats from Gohan fighting Cell. Even him defeating the henchmen, like when he just hits through them and they almost like turn into smoke, it looks very visually similar to him beating the Cell Juniors. And then Goku kind of like from the other world gives Gohan a little bit of a hand to defeat Bojack here.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly egregious about this one, but just everything about it just felt a little subpar. So for me, and man, I think I'm being a little generous with this one, but I gave this one a 4 out of 10.
So you said you were being generous. I thought you were going to say even higher because I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 10 because I don't have a lot of good to say about this one, really. Even the like, I want to see this Gohan more, but we don't get him doing anything cool, really. Even him beating Bojack was kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's some interesting ingredients to this mixture, but that's about it. It should have been better. And honestly, if we're gonna lean into the space pirate theme, I'm into that. That sounds fun. Let's actually do it though. But yeah, there's no personality here other than like they're wearing piratey-ish it's not even super piratey stuff. It's piratey-ish stuff that you kind of have to draw that conclusion from.
I actually just had the end scene of him beating Bojack up on my screen here because I couldn't remember what it was, and they do kind of have like a key blast clash, very similar to like him fighting Cell, but it just kind of like shows their beams clash, and then it shows a cut of Gohan like behind Bojack as if he had like hit him or punched him, and then Bojack just like vaporizes, but it makes no sense.
Just like, oh. It's a movie, all right. So, all right. Let's get through this log. All right, we're in the power round. I think the next two, let's burn through.
Let's do it.
So we gave BoJack a 3.5 as their ITDB official rating. We're going to move into movie number 10, which is Broly Second Coming. And my first note on here is just, this is Broly slop. Broly doesn't have any really interesting dialogue. I was excited to get like Trunks and Goten and Gohan on screen at the beginning of this movie, but it's awkward. Like there's a couple cool little pieces of choreography. But outside of that, this is just kind of Dragon Ball diarrhea. Like I don't know how else to describe this movie. The story doesn't really make sense. Like this is the one where he like crash lands and forms like crystals around himself. And I don't know what is going. Why is he doing that? I don't know. I'll just give my score right now. I give this a 2 out of 10.
So just my quick things. It doesn't make sense why Broly's still alive. It doesn't make sense why he crash landed on Earth like that. He says almost nothing. His fighting is boring. The only thing that I like about this one, I think, is there is like Vidal's involved. So and like the boys are involved. So it's not just Goku. But even Goku comes out at the end to help resolve this. But I do kind of like the father son Kamehameha. It is kind of cool. It's definitely fan service, but I like it. And that's probably the only reason this gets more than a 1 for me. I gave it a 2 out of 10 as well.
It's just, man, I would definitely have a poster of that. Just that frame of all of them doing the Kamehameha together. Like, that does look epic. I wish it would have been a more compelling villain they were doing that against, or a more interesting situation, because I didn't feel like any emotional attachment to that moment, but it did look cool.
I think it's even the cover of the movie, if I'm not mistaken, because
well, they knew what was good.
Yeah, it's a sick moment, but that's all it has going for it.
All right. Well, guess what? We're not done with Broly yet, because we're moving into movie number 11, Bio Broly. And I mean, if any of you have seen our review in this one, this is, I think, agreed upon before we even need to reveal numbers. This is the worst movie. Like there's no upside to this movie. There aren't interesting fights. It's Broly again, but somehow they find a way to make him even less interesting. In the first one, he at least had some dialogue, some story. Then in the second movie, well, okay, like he has some story, but we're going to remove the dialogue. In this one, nothing. I've never seen a villain handled more poorly than Broly was in this movie. And I'm sick of Broly at this point, so I don't even want this movie. Why does this movie exist?
Yeah, it's so bad. His character design looks terrible. Like, his character design normally to me is boring, but then they just turned him into Swamp Thing. And the only thing that I like about this movie, again, is that it doesn't focus on Goku. Like, we get to see Krillin, we get to see 18, Goten, Trunks. That's probably the only thing that I like about it, but I'll go ahead and just give my score. It's a 1. It's an absolute 1. Like, I even with the seeing the side characters, I can't give it more than a 1. I hated watching this movie.
This is one of those ones where when we were going through all these movies, I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like, like it's kind of a slog with the I mean, you go Return of Cooler, which is like okay, Super Android 13, which is also okay, and then Broly is, I think, okay. BoJack, like it's just movie after movie after movie of you're not really getting much creative thought, you're not really getting good fights, and this is definitely probably one of the lowest lows in Dragon Ball content. Like, this was a a missed movie pretty much on every level.
100%. Yeah, I have nothing to say good about this movie. Fortunately, this is where we kind of like come up from the trough that is the bottom of the barrel into movie number 12.
Yeah, this is kind of some whiplash here. So, because you didn't hear it, Bio Broly 11 out of 10, and now we're moving into movie number 12, which is Fusion Reborn. And I didn't know what to expect from this one. I'm seeing all these movies for the first time. The story in this movie is a little weak, and that's about the only downside I have to this movie, because Janemba is such an interesting villain. His character design, like, he visually looks interesting. And especially you get like the 180 transformation where he goes from like this giant baby into kind of a demonic, well, anime looking character. And I mean, his abilities are cool. The way he can, like, I don't know, when he's in his anime form, he can like teleport around, and even the animation on that looks cool. But when he's in big form, he can like animate things and bring in the life. He's an interesting puzzle for our heroes to solve. And we get some decent Vegeta time in this one as well, and some okay Vegeta dialogue. I like a lot about this movie. And how do you feel about it?
I think it's great. The story is weak, but I don't think that the story is the focus, and I think this movie understands that. And even like the concept to me is interesting. Like the idea of them having this machine that scrubs souls clean, and it like overflowing and breaking, and that contaminates a guy to turn him into some sort of demon creature. Like, I like the concept a lot, even if it is very fast and simple. And I think the meat and potatoes of this movie is the fighting. Janemba really, if you want to talk about like narratively, Janemba's not really more interesting than, say, Broly. Probably has less dialogue than Broly, but is a way better villain and way more interesting to watch on the screen because of his abilities and everything.
Yeah, he's interesting, right? And it's because of what he is, which is, you don't have that same excuse for somebody like Broly, where Broly is, I mean, he's the legendary Super Saiyan, but he's still a Saiyan at the end of the day. And so when he's just saying Kakarot over and over again, it doesn't feel as compelling. Whereas Janemba is this weird otherworldly thing, and there aren't really any rules defining what he should be. The fights were super fun, so that's always a big plus, right? Like when you're having to deal with interesting problems. I loved when Vegeta was able to kind of pick apart, like, after seeing Janemba teleport once, he figured out how it worked and was able to strike him out of it. Like, I love that little attention to detail. Would have loved an explanation as to how it worked, but whatever. He's the master.
Yeah. I do love that. Anytime they show that Vegeta, he's a fighting savant. Truly, he's a prodigy. I like that when they find little ways to show that. The teleportation stuff is cool. It looks cool because it's done in this unique way of Janemba like turning into like these little blocks, almost like pixelated looking. He ends up like, he's got interesting techniques past that of just like turns random items into weapons, like with the sword, and then cutting through Goku. We get to see blood, and they don't censor it. And then lastly, we get Gogeta, and I know I do agree with you that I would have liked a little bit more Gogeta by the end of this, but he is cool and his technique is cool, and watching him turn Janemba into Stardust effectively is cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm right there with you. This movie knows what it wants to be, right? And I think it accomplishes it. Like, I think it sets out to entertain the audience, and it absolutely does that. We get a little bit of PyCon on screen, which I know a lot of people are big fans of PyCon. I wish he would have done a little bit more, but whatever. There's only so much screen time to go around. And like, we don't talk about this a ton, but the set dressing here is cool. Like they're in this weird otherworldly place where like the rules are strange and the environment is different. You've got like these giant metal spiky bushes and stuff like that they're having to fight around. Just even the setting is just an interesting place to be. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, yeah. I could gush about this movie all day long, but I'll give my rating here for this one. This is the only movie out of all 13 that I gave a perfect 10 out of 10. I like this one a lot. And there are little things that I could nitpick, but I don't think there's enough bad here that I would actively knock it down a point. I think it knows what it wants to be, and it's giving us high quality action all throughout the movie with a really cool villain with really cool techniques. So I love it. It's really good.
You know, I'm basically right there with you. For me, I gave this one a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I didn't give it the full 10 is there's just a couple things that I watched. I'm such a big fan of the traditional martial arts stuff, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more attention to that choreography. Even though the fights are amazing, the techniques are fun. But I mean, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a near perfect movie for me. I just prefer a little bit more of the older Dragon Ball style of the way they do fights versus the newer age. And that's just a preference. I honestly, I'm splitting hairs in this one. I try to make sure that I had a 1 through 10 rating for all the movies. And for me, it just happened to be that Dead Zone happened to be my 10 and Fusion Reborn happened to be my number 9. Like they're very close for me. Like if I had to swap them, I wouldn't be that upset, but yeah, it's a damn near perfect movie for me. And that gives us a combined score of 9.5 out of 10, which I think that's putting it right at the top of the list, man. Like that's a high rating.
Actually, yeah, just looking at it. Well, we'll have to go over all the ratings.
We're almost there. We've got another one that might be a competitor coming up next in Wrath of the Dragon. And this one is shocking to me because I did not expect to like this movie as much as I did, kind of thinking back. Like by the time we got to the end, and there's actually not a ton of action in this movie. It's actually relatively low in action.
Mm-hmm.
But they're trying to write narrative beats, and they actually did. Like they actually work. And they gave us Tapion, who is a very interesting and compelling character, and arguably one of the most interesting characters introduced in all of these movies. So I have to give them some big writing points on this one right off the bat.
I mean, this is the most recent one we watched, and we just talked about this one. I love this movie. There's so much good about this one, with it having its own unique narrative, it having kind of 2 unique bad guys in it, a new and unique hero, which I don't think we see in any of the other movies that I can think of.
Who defeats the bad guy? Is it this new cool hero?
Yeah. That is awesome. So the narrative focuses on Tapion, and then also focuses on Kid Trunks and his relationship with this new hero. So that's, I mean, that alone blows me away. But also giving us like this tragic backstory for this new hero, giving us the moment of like, providing us the origin story of Trunks' sword, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then like the moment of Tapion like sealing Hirudegarn inside of himself and telling Trunks like, hey, you have to kill me to get rid of this thing, because they weren't able to beat the thing. They were struggling to find a way to fully defeat it.
And Hirudegarn is a cool villain too, or a cool monster villain. And when we first see him, he's only half of himself, right? And the other half is just this black mist that kind of covers what should be his upper half, but there's nothing there. We learn that his backstory is he's like an ancient evil that this civilization summons and uses to kind of spread their supremacy. So there's actually a really cool backstory to this giant monster. And on top of that, he moves interestingly. Like for being a big guy, he can move at insane rapid speeds. He uses this cool like key fire blast out of his mouth that just looks awesome. So we got the wombo combo of decent story and interesting villain. And on top of that, like you said, this is the only movie that introduces an interesting new character. So there's a lot of unique things that this movie does well.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is another one. Like, I mean, we've talked about this, Dayton, but you kind of like in the middle of these movies, you go through that like awful trough, like the dip through like the second and third Broly movie and BoJack. And then you come to the end with these two that are just phenomenal. Um, this one, the only thing that I don't like about this one is they don't stick the landing at the end. Like, give me a narrative that you've provided us a narrative that is not focused on Goku. You're focused on Trunks. This should have been Trunks's win. Goku should, if you want Goku to help get the victory, sure, but it's not his story. Don't let him be the one who beats the monster. It also, like, the sword should have been the thing to beat the monster.
Yeah, it's kind of a Chekhov's gun moment that they didn't deliver on with this epic sword that's been kind of flaunted in front of you the entire. Also, swords are cool, but
yeah.
And I mean, this will kind of get me to reveal my scores. I had two bugaboos with this one. One is like I love the story, I love the characters, love the villains. I would have liked a little bit more action because I feel like it's a lot of just world building and character building, which is great. But at my core, like I want the action. Dragon Ball is about the action for me, and I felt like there could have been a little bit more. Not seeing Tapion put that sword to work felt like just a big miss for me. And then the other one is it's the ending. I thought that ending was just you had this obvious conclusion that it should have come to, and it missed it. It should have been Trunks's win, and it should have been maybe Tapion's win too. Like it should have been those two somehow, since we were building them up, and then it's just another lunchbox moment. And I know you had opinions about what was it called, the Dragon Fist that he used at the end.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like the Dragon Fist as a technique a lot, but I honestly don't feel like it has a place in this movie. I don't see why they would even. Well, I know why. It's because it's Goku.
But like it comes out of left field as to him busting out a new tech. It wasn't like this monster was so powerful they had to develop something new or they needed like an ace in the hole. It was just like, oh, also Goku's going to use this technique. Okay.
Yeah, like it's cool that it's Goku's like own unique technique. We don't, as far as we know, he didn't learn it from anybody, so presumably he's like developed this one. So that's cool. It looks cool. It has a cool name. There's a lot that I like about the technique itself. It just has no place in this movie.
So for me, I had two bugaboos. So those bugaboos each take off a point. I gave this one an 8 out of 10. Like I still think it's a fantastic movie. A couple changes and it's like a perfect movie, but I gave it a high score, but not a perfect score.
Yeah, I get that. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. I'll be honest, if they would have stuck that landing for the end, this would be perfect, like 10 or 11 out of 10 for me. Like I would put this above Fusion Reborn if they would have stuck the landing and gave Trunks that win at the end.
Yeah, it's right there, man. Like it just feels weird that they saw the turn they needed to make and then willingly went the other way. It just feels so obvious.
And I think the part that frustrates me even more about it, like you've got an obvious win, but I think it's also the reason, because the people who make and write Dragon Ball are so afraid to take Goku out of the limelight, and I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so close. I wish they would just commit to it, but we have to give them credit in all the things they did right, though. Like Tapion's a cool character. I like spending time with Trunks and some time with Goten, and Hirudegarn's cool. Like there's just so many good things with it. Just next time, guys, just give us the full thing. Just finish properly.
I would love, like we've talked about remakes and stuff and like modernizing some characters. I would love to see a modern take on this movie and correct the ending. I would be so happy. I would spend all of my money to go watch that.
And I mean, like we're looking for excuses to get new characters, and so Tapion, he's already written, he's ready to be brought in. Just update him and bring him into the fold. Like we'd love to see him.
100%. Yeah, this is a great concept, great movie, great storytelling. Yeah, I love this movie. It just just missed the mark just a little bit.
Well, I think with that, I think that's all 13 movies ranked and put together, and I think we're ready to kind of go through here and figure out where everyone landed. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to go through all of these. We were pretty dang close between you and I as far as our ratings for most of these. No more than 2 points off, I think.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And oh man, somehow Bio Broly got an 11 out of 10. Let me go ahead and fix that. I'm not sure what happened there.
I mean, best movie in all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I think people might be a little suspect if Bio Broly turns out to be the mold breaking movie.
I'm trying to think. Should we start with the bottom and go up? Is that the plan?
Let's start at the bottom of the barrel, which is the Bio Broly we were talking about. Each of us gave it a 1, so originally had 2 1s, but we're going to take 1 away. This is an ITDB rating of 1 out of 10. There's no redeeming this movie. There's no pieces that you could really like hang your laurels on. This one just missed the mark.
It's so bad. It's absolutely terrible. It deserves its number 1, maybe less.
Well, don't worry. We'll double up with Broly being at the bottom here because we got movie number 10 coming in the second to last place spot, and Broly's Second Coming just, I don't know. It takes the original Broly movie and then makes it less interesting. Like we take this formula and we pull stuff out of it and then regurgitate the same thing, and it just there's not a lot for me to like about it. And we were equal in this one too. We both gave this one a 2.
Yeah, it's only thing I like is the father, son, and son Kamehameha. That's truly the only good thing in that whole movie.
Third to last is BoJack Unbound. It's not the worst, but it's just not very good either. It's just a subpar movie.
Yeah, it has some interesting concepts. Like a remake of that one might be good. I wouldn't mind seeing it, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of interesting concepts, it's kind of the same idea with, in my opinion, Super Android 13, where there are some interesting concepts in it, but I feel like it's one that just also doesn't deliver. I don't find Android 13 to be a particularly interesting villain. You like the dub. I don't blame you for that because I think it was hard for even Team 4-Star to make fun of that. Like it was making fun of itself.
The dub, like people post lines from the Funimation dub online and people assume that it's the Team 4-Star version because it's so off the wall and ridiculous. So it probably got a point from me just for that alone.
So that's BoJack Unbound, third to last at 3.5, our combined ITB score. Super Android 13 has a solid 4, and now we're on Return of Cooler, landing at 4.5 out of 10. And I mean, it's a fine movie. Cool concepts, maybe a little underbaked, but I don't know. I don't have a ton of bad to say about it, but I don't really have a ton of good to say about it either.
Yeah, it struggled. The animation is rough. It's just it's a worse, Cooler movie. We didn't need that one, to be honest.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say too much more about it. Return of Cooler was a movie. They probably needed to fill a time slot, and that's probably why it got made. And then right in the fatty middle of the pack, we've got Broly Legendary Super Saiyan with another 4.5 out of 10. And I mean, I think we talked that one to death. It's Broly. He's not the most interesting character. The story beats are fine with maybe some flaws with them going back to the same well of more Saiyans existing, but I don't know. It's not particularly offensive, but I think both of us think that Broly might be a little overrated, which is definitely going to make some people happy.
Yeah. Sorry, Broly lovers out there. I don't like Broly. I just don't.
Tree of Might up next with a 5.5 out of 10, and it's a fine movie. I don't know. It's hard to really say anything about a 5.5 movie that's kind of average the entire way through.
I feel like this is most of these are, well, in a good spot, but that one just feels so average.
Like, it's nothing offends me about it, but at the same time, it's even the main character is just a copy paste of another character. What are we doing here? What are we trying to accomplish?
Yeah, it's just kind of like it's fine throughout. That's all I have to say about it.
Up next, we've got Cooler's Revenge with a Satan worshipping 666 across the board here. Just kind of a neat movie, neat character design, and I mean, this is another candidate for a character we'd like to see brought back with modern amenities. There's a lot of potential here that I think they missed, and I wouldn't mind if they brought him back and tried again.
I would love to see Cooler brought into modern day Dragon Ball. It's really the movie to me just suffers from the whole first half of the movie is just waiting for Goku, and I got bored.
Yeah, yeah, and there's not much else to say. Lord Slug's up next, and we once again were locked in on this one with a 777 across the board, winning the jackpot on it, and it's kind of like the our logic for Fusion Reborn, where it knows what it wants to be. It's trying to just be a fun, fighty movie, and it does that to a less degree of success as Fusion Reborn, but it does do that. Lord Slug is big. He's an interesting thing to fight, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with him being in the top half of movies here.
Yeah, I like Cooler's Revenge is fine. There's fun stuff in it. I think really Lord Slug here is kind of like for me the real turning point for these movies. Obviously not chronologically, but in our rating wise, where I could watch Lord Slug multiple times and have a lot of fun watching it.
Actually, yeah, 100%. I think any of the previous movies before Lord Slug, I don't have a strong draw to watch again. I mean, I'd be willing to watch Broly again to see if maybe I missed something that the audience would point out. But I mean, other than that, there's not the same fun factor. And I think that's what it comes down to is I have fun watching Lord Slug fighting Goku as they're stomping around the city. Even the Cooler's Revenge, there's not the same level of fun factor. It's just I think he's cool, but we are missing, like, there's a missing piece there that just Lord Slug has and the Cooler's Revenge doesn't have.
Yeah, like I like the second half of the Cooler movie. The first half bores me. Like the second half's fun. The second half with Piccolo beating up the bad guys and Cooler and Goku fighting, it just takes too long to get there.
And honestly, I was about to say, I was just like, man, going from Lord Slug to Wrath of the Dragon feels like a big jump in quality to me. But if you look at our combined score, we're going from a 7 to an 8.5. Like, there's a clear division between these top 1, 2, 3, 4 movies and everything else. Like, Lord Slug is a step up. Wrath of the Dragon and everything after it is like 2 steps up. Like, you can tell that we really do enjoy these movies.
Yeah, these next 4, they truly are a step up. Yeah, Wrath of the Dragon being right after Lord Slug is wild, and actually being below Dead Zone and, well, yeah, our next couple here. But
you start going to analyze mode. I can see your eyes just start like reading into all the information. Like, what does this mean?
Yeah, right. I had to stop myself. I love it though. I cannot say enough good things about Wrath of the Dragon. If they would change that ending, I would. Man, it would be a perfect Dragon Ball movie.
I mean, give me 15 minutes of like kick-ass fighting and a little bit more budget, and it's a perfect movie to me. Like, that's all I want out of it is just like get that ending right. Like, we know what we need to do here. We're gonna sell the lunchbox whether Goku beats the boss or not in this movie. So just make it right. Give me a little bit more fighting, and we're good. Like, I can really respect them for trying to do something new just right off the bat, and the fact that they did something new and succeeded with Tapion and this crazy story that he's involved in. How cool is it, man? Like, I want more of this. Like, I want to know more about this story. It's kind of like, in a way, I have an appreciation for this in the same way that I do like Zamatsu, where it's an attempt at something new. It's a different way of telling a story with new characters. And I like it when Dragon Ball takes those risks. They don't always pan out. Like, the execution of Zamatsu was kind of bad, but I liked the narrative building that they were trying to do with it. So, like, in a way, I appreciate what that was trying to be. And I appreciate what they actually did here. These are both brand new stories with brand new characters that I want to know more about. And I mean, let's be real. I doubt we'll ever know more about Tapion. Like, I got a feeling that this is all we're ever gonna get, which makes me a little sad.
It is a bummer, and I feel like the people who have watched this movie like the movie and like Tapion a lot. So I would love to see him brought into modern day. Probably not going to happen, but that is on my Dragon Ball wish list. That is very near the top.
Up next at our third place, actually third and second are tied. So third place is Dead Zone, which I mean, I think we said it pretty well before, but I'll say it succinctly here. This one has some of the best fighting, best choreography, cool henchmen, ties in with side characters. It kind of does a lot right. Really, the fact that it borrows story beats from the anime series and the ending is a bit rushed. Those are like the two big things holding it back from, I think, being a perfect 10 out of 10 more overall. But man, I'd love this movie. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. I would sit down and rewatch this movie right now if it was on. Like, I think the rewatchability of this one is very high.
It's real good, man. Like, and it's funny because it's the very first Dragon Ball Z movie that they made, and I mean, per our ratings, it's one of the best. It's really well done. The fighting in it is just, it's hard not to love some of those fight sequences that are just very martial arts grounded.
And the power pulver sword, it's so cool. I love that kind of stuff. Like, give me just cool stuff. Like, Tapion, take out the sword, hit somebody with it, please, for the love of God.
100%. Yeah. Unfortunately, Dragon Ball really leaves the weapons by the wayside, especially once you get into Z.
Our other second place, second/third place movie, World's Strongest. This one, man, I feel like I always gloss over this one. Like, I always forget how much I like this movie, and it's such a sleeper hit for me because when I went back and started looking at all of them to make this list, I was struggling to find reasons to dislike this movie. And it's weird because, like, I like everything about it, but it always just, like, I always forget about it, and I can't put my finger on why.
It's funny. So we gave this straight 9s across the board, and I am a strong advocate for World's Strongest. I feel like the fan base forgets about it a lot, much like you're saying. I think it's a phenomenal movie. There's so many strong points about it between the action and the bad guy, and I don't have a lot bad to say about it. It's really good.
I'm wondering if maybe it's because the main villain doesn't have as strong of an identity as maybe some of the other villains. Like because personality, I do think, plays a big role in how people remember characters. And that's probably the one thing that maybe the main villain of that one is really missing, is there's not much personality there. Like, when you think of Cell, you think of that over the top ego, or when you think of Frieza, you think of just like how nasty and evil and villainous Frieza is. There's not as much personality in this character. And I probably should have compared to some of the other movies. Like, I don't know, Garlic is just kind of this egomaniac who's, yeah, like, you know what he's after. It's hard for me to put a personality or a bow on this villain, and maybe that's why I gloss over this one when I'm thinking about it.
That's fair. The funny part is that that is, I don't want to say fixed, but that is almost placed upon Dr. Cochin, like the assistant, who is very much more has the like old mad scientist personality. So you really get that from him, but you're right. You don't get that as much from. I'm even honestly drawing a blank on what the main bad guy's name is.
Like, I think because, like I said, I like him as a like, written down as a summary. I like him as a villain, but there needs to be like a little bit more personality or something to make him stand out. Like, I feel like there's just a sprinkling of something that just needs to be added there, because it's not like he's bad. I don't really want to change him. I just want whatever that is that he is. I want more of it.
I get that, and I agree with you. And I had to look it up so that it's Dr. Wheelo.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
But yeah, so to your point, I forgot even what his name was. He's involved so little, and he doesn't have a ton of personality beyond just he's smart and he preserved his body and he wants a strong body. Um, so that's probably the weakest part of it. But still, we both gave it 9, so everything else is great across the board.
Yeah, it's hard for me to really knock a movie where it's just like I enjoyed the entire thing, except the villain could have been a little better. Like, okay, yep, that's a 9.
It's really good, man. It's a strong movie.
But and this is going to bring us to our number 1, which is, man, I was kind of hoping we'd buck the trend a little bit on here and be a little bit more controversial, but it's Fusion Reborn. I mean, you gave it a perfect 10 out of 10 score. I gave it a 9 out of 10. And that was because of a preference thing. It wasn't because of anything actually wrong with it. It's a 9.5. Like it's basically a perfect Dragon Ball Z movie in context with all the other Dragon Ball Z movies. It's entertaining. The main villain's really cool. I mean, what else do we just talked about it? Like we're just,
it's just good, man. Like
we're big fans.
Yeah, it doesn't have problems that the other movies have. Like the story is simple, but it's not simple in a bad way. It's not problematic. There's no like dreadfully slow moments. The villain is also simple, doesn't really have any dialogue, but it doesn't matter because that's not the point of the movie. He's just meant to be like this force of nature, and just like this, chaotic demon thing. And yeah, so that it has almost none of the negatives that all the other movies or many of the other movies have, and is just high octane fun action to watch.
Yeah, it's very clearly the most rewatchable out of all the movies because it's not boring you with any stupid story. It's not trying to get you emotionally involved. It's just, hey, here's this just really cool bad guy and our heroes have to beat it. All right, I'm here for it. And I mean, it doesn't even really try and lead you on by pretending that the side characters are really going to get involved. It's like, all right, who needs to be here? Vegeta. All right, well, it has fusion in it, so you need someone to fuse with. So here we go. Like it's just kicking ass.
Yeah, it's good. I should probably point out, because I did knock Lord Slug for this, that it did spoil fusion. But it's still so cool that I couldn't even knock a point for the fusion spoil. But it's like you said, it's probably the most rewatchable on this whole list. Like I could go watch that movie a dozen times in a row and I'd still love watching it. Like I would have so much fun with it.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. And like in the entirety of Dragon Ball, not just the context of the movies, Janemba is one of the most interesting villains that they've written. Like the most interesting fighting problem that our heroes have had to solve. This is probably our number 1 candidate for an old villain being brought back with modern animation. Like I'd love to see a Broly level animation with Janemba. Like it would be so cool and be so different from Broly too. You could have 2 separate experiences that are just high octane fighting and fun, but they're completely different. And you could appreciate them for different things. Like I want that. Like I need that remake.
It's funny too because like they brought Broly back into the modern day with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, but they also brought Gogeta from the Fusion Reborn movie into that new Broly movie. So the other thing that would be interesting about seeing Janemba brought into modern day would be, ideally they would have to solve it a different way, because you've already solved Broly with the Gogeta fusion. So it would be a bummer to have Gogeta also be the solution to Janemba. You should ideally come up with a different solution for that. So I'd like to see how they solve it that way too.
And you can make a really funny joke about how they're going to fuse, and then Janemba stops them so they can't. Like we're gonna do. Oh nope, we're doing something different. Like I would love to see that jest.
That would be cool. It would. Yeah, that would be very interesting. I almost was gonna say it would be cool if they had like the Patara earrings and like Janemba broke one of them or something. But yeah, something like that. So something different would be fun.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna rattle down the list here real quick, and then I guess you'll take us out. So let's do it.
Sounds good.
Our number 1 once again is Fusion Reborn, followed by The World's Strongest at number 2, tied with Dead Zone at number 3. Wrath of the Dragon, Lord Slug, Cooler's Revenge, Tree of Might, Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan, Return of Cooler, Super Android 13, BoJack Unbound, Broly Second Coming, and Bio Broly rounding out the bottom here. This has been one hell of a journey, Todd.
This has been one hell of a journey. Man, we're finished with the movies, Dayton.
Yeah. Wow. We're gonna have to make real content now. Jesus.
Oh man. But I think that's going to be it for this episode of Instant Transmission, where we discuss everything Dragon Ball. This has been your host, Todd.
And Dayton.
Don't forget, we're on Patreon and Discord. If you want to give us a Super Saiyan spanking for rating your favorite movie poorly, you can find us at patreon.com/ITDB.
Why do you always have to word it like that? Why does it have to get weird at the end?
I don't know what you're talking about. The Discord link will be in the episode description, but you can also find it and all of our other links at linktree/ITDB podcast. Thank you all so much for your support. Be sure to join us next time as we figure out what in the other world we're doing next. We've wrapped up Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and all 13 DBZ movies, plus a few others. So what's next? Is GT finally on the horizon? Or do we go live action with Dragon Ball Evolution? Why do all our current options make me want to pull a Chaozu and blow myself up? Find out next time. And to all our fellow Dragon Ball fans, stay safe out there and remember to keep rocking the dragon.
Well, I mean, we have Beerus again around the corner. That's something to look forward to.
I mean, I guess I'm happy about it.